used, the conventional method is being phased out and health officials are urging for the use of the required treated bed nets. The voluntary organization is currently registered in Sweden, UK, USA and the Gambia, and they are looking forward to register in more countries the world over. For GRTS News, I am Aja Amisise.
The name of the voluntary organization is in fact Your Change for Change, instead of what we earlier announced as Your Change for Chance. French fighter jets have continued to attack militant positions in Mali for a third day, as West African countries camber troops to bolster the government. Mubarak's legal battle continues as an Egyptian court orders for a retrial of the former president. We'll be back with those and other stories right after this break.
The NOEC Staff Association, under the Chief Guest of Honor, His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya AJJ Jammeh, is staging its third annual gala dinner and dance in association with the international superstar Asanjai of Senegal, Jaliba Kuyate and Abu and Fafa. This program is in support of His Excellency's drive to turn the Gambia into a city-state by providing all basic and essential services, such as electricity and water, to the Gambian population irrespective of where they live. The gala dinner is slated for the 25th of January 2013 at the Senegambia Beach Hotel. Tables are as follows: Platinum $60,000 Diamond $50,000 Gold $40,000 and Silver $35,000 Each table comes with 10 gala dinner tickets and cash power raffle tickets. Individual tickets $1,500 January 25th, that is the dance at the Paradise Suites Hotel, Penchami Hall. The tickets are as follows: VIP $600, Ordinary $400. Chief Guest of Honor for the night: Modu Turo Dabo, Aja Chan Khan and Fatu Toure. And at Brikama Joko, which is January 27th, the tickets are $200 flat. Chief Guest of Honor: Lamin Sane, Governor of West Coast Region, Aja Fatu Sow, Farato Alcalo and Amidou Ja Oil. For reservations, please call 366-4096, 997-3500, 384-6607, 980-2992.
Welcome back. More than 200 troops from Ivory Coast and Chad have arrived in Mali to bolster government forces who are battling rebels in the flashpoint town of Konna. They have been joined by French and Nigerian troops whose mission is to halt the rebel advance north. The deployment follows 2 nights of French air raid on Islamist positions which have killed 100 militants, according to sources. Meanwhile, ECOWAS is holding an emergency meeting to discuss the crisis. Let's look at this report for more.
French forces arrived at the military air base in Bamako on Saturday. More than 200 troops were flown in from Chad and Côte d'Ivoire. They will be joined later by reinforcements from France. Soon after their arrival, they were met by the French ambassador to Mali, who briefed them on their mission.
Continue what was begun yesterday and make further progress on the ground against terrorist groups. They have suffered a heavy blow. Now we must transform this into victory.
The French operation took many by surprise. As part of a UN-backed international force, it was not expected to begin until autumn. Most of the operation has consisted of air raids. For the moment, the new troops will remain in Bamako.
We will very quickly organize these troops, which will most certainly move northward, alongside Malian forces, in order to create the conditions for the deployment of the international mission being sent to support Mali.
West African troops have also been deployed. Yesterday, the Nigerian Air Force sent a group of technicians. The commander of the West African contingent, himself Nigerian, arrived as well. On the ground, operations continue following the liberation of Konna. The Malian army says that at least 100 insurgents were killed, including one of Ansar Din's most powerful commanders, known as Ojak. ACME has made threats to France and called on Muslims and neighboring countries to join them in the fight for northern Mali. Casualties among the Malian army are lower, 11 dead and 60 wounded, according to Captain Sanogo, the former leader of the junta, during his visit to the hospital. Captain Sonogo, who had initially opposed foreign intervention, praised the French operation.
I congratulate the French troops fighting alongside us today. They have played a critical role.
The NGO Human Rights Watch says that at least 11 Malian soldiers, a French helicopter pilot, and 10 civilians have been killed since the operation began on Friday.
Meanwhile, French commandos have launched a pre-dawn raid on Somalia's Al-Shabaab-held territory in an attempt to free a French national held hostage by the militants. A French soldier and 17 Shabaab fighters were killed after the commandos landed in the town of Bola Merer. As we hear in this report, the failed operation has raised questions about the fate of the French hostage, with France saying he has been killed, whilst the Shabaab insist otherwise.
One soldier was killed and another wounded during a raid by French commandos in Somalia, who were attempting to rescue a French hostage being held by the Islamist Shabaab in the southern town of Bulamarar. Witnesses say that 4 helicopter gunships swooped into the town, where more than 100 Shabaab awaited them. A Shabaab commander said that he had been warned of the attack in advance, but did not say by whom. What is certain is that local authorities had been informed.
We knew about the attack. NATO always informed us of the whereabouts of the agent held by the terrorist. It did so again last night.
Witnesses say that 8 Somali citizens were also killed in the raid. A family of 4 died when the gunships landed. 4 other people were killed in the exchange of gunfire between the commandos and Shabaab fighters. French authorities have not confirmed these reports, but the bungled operation has raised doubts about the fate of the hostage, Denis Alex. The Islamists say that he is still alive. The French Minister of Defense, however, is skeptical.
An extremely violent battle took place. Extremely violent. During which, and I say this with caution, everything leads us to believe that unfortunately Denis Alex was killed by his captors.
The French intelligence agent was kidnapped in Mogadishu in August of 2009, along with a colleague who was released a month later. French authorities must now determine whether Mr. Alex did in fact survive the raid and remains a hostage of the Shabaab, as the Islamists claim.
We'll now take our second break.
Naturel yii ci jonge épices say marinade dina neex ba yokk sa appétit ak jonge épices jongeel ba sës jongeel ba faw ni jongeel ba ca biir cin.
Start your day with Armonti, pure margarine with the best ingredients. Also ideal for frying and baking. Every day, an Armonti day.
Ak épices naturel yii ci jonge super doré say gruyère ak say ceeb day gën a doore te di nga am cëfka bu amul fenn. Jongeel ba sës jongeel ba faw ni jongeel ba ca biir cin.
Welcome back, and over now to sports. Senegal has appointed a new coach to revive the fortunes of its national team, the Teranga Lions. Alain Grts, French national, inked a 2-year deal at a ceremony attended by Senegalese football officials. As we hear in this report, Grts now has the challenging task of qualifying the Lions to the World Cup after they were eliminated by Ivory Coast in the AFCON qualifiers.
Former France international Alain Grts has signed a 2-year contract with the Senegalese Football Federation to become the new head coach of the national team, the Lions of Teranga. The Frenchman will now be faced with the difficult task of qualifying Senegal for the next World Cup.
By signing the contract between the Senegalese Football Federation and Mr. Alain Grts, we will bring together the players and create a closely knit team.
The Lions of Teranga were eliminated by Côte d'Ivoire and will not play in the next Africa Cup of Nations, which begins next Saturday in South Africa. This will be Alain Grts' 3rd time coaching an African team, and he recognizes the difficult challenge ahead of him, but insists it can be overcome.
Le futur de l'équipe nationale se
The future national team